Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a deep dive into something I think you'll find super interesting.
Yeah.
Um, it's this relationship enhancement program
Okay.
that's designed to give couples the tools and techniques they need to really thrive. Like,
Yeah.
you know how sometimes you wish you had a guidebook for your relationship?
Uh-huh.
Well, this program is kind of like that. It's packed with insights and practical advice
Yeah.
to help you navigate all the ups and downs of love and partnership.
Mhm.
And
That's so important
yeah,
because, relationships can be complicated,
they really can.
and it's great to have
Yeah.
a roadmap, so to speak.
Exactly. And one of the things that I found really fascinating about this program,
Few
that it
more.
encourages you to be really proactive about relationship health.
I like that.
So instead of like waiting for problems to explode,
Yeah. Yeah.
it emphasizes the importance of like regularly checking in and kind of assessing how things are going.
It's like a checkup like you would get at the doctor's office, but for your relationship.
Exactly. It's like taking your relationship to the doctor for a checkup.
Mm-hmm.
I love that analogy. So what kind of assessments
I
are
mean,
we talking about here?
well, one of the key tools that this program uses is something called the Relationship Checkup Questionnaire.
Okay.
And it basically asks a bunch of questions that are designed to spark some interesting conversations and get you thinking about your relationship.
Oh, I like that. Like what kinds of questions?
For example, one question asks,
Hmm.
do you feel like you and your partner are equally invested in growing, both as individuals and as a couple?
Hmm. That's a good one.
Yeah.
And it's not about like pointing fingers or blaming anyone, right?
Right.
It's just about each person understanding where they stand.
Exactly. It's about taking responsibility
Yeah.
for the health of the relationship.
So it's a shared responsibility.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that actually leads into another really important part of this program,
Okay.
which is the emphasis on individual accountability.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
So it's not just about fixing the relationship as like a single unit.
Right.
It's about each person looking at themselves and thinking about what they can do to improve things.
Exactly.
Wow, I like that.
Yeah, it can be challenging because the program actually has this worksheet
Okay.
called Areas for Change,
Hmm.
and it encourages you to ask yourself some tough questions like,
Like what?
what would I like to change most about myself?
Ooh, that is tough.
What habits might my partner find annoying about me?
Okay. Yeah, that's getting real.
It's about self-awareness
Right.
and taking ownership of your role in the relationship.
Yeah, it's not always easy to look in the mirror like that.
It's not.
But it's so valuable.
Yeah, it's got to be valuable for growth.
Absolutely. It's essential.
Okay, so you're basically taking ownership of how you contribute to the good and the bad in the relationship.
Hmm.
Now, another big thing this program dives into is communication styles.
Oh, yeah.
And we all know how important communication is in any relationship.
Absolutely crucial. It's like the foundation
Yeah.
of everything.
The program actually breaks down the four main communication styles.
Okay.
You've got passive-aggressive, and assertive.
Right, right.
And it really emphasizes assertive communication as the key.
Hmm. So what is assertive communication exactly? I feel like there's a fine line between assertive and aggressive.
That's a great question, and the program does a good job of
Yeah.
explaining that difference. It's about expressing your needs and feelings clearly and respectfully, but without blaming or attacking your partner.
So it's like finding that balance
Yeah.
between standing up for yourself and
Mhm.
respecting the other person's perspective.
Exactly.
Okay, so for someone who might be stuck in like a passive communication mode
Okay.
or even a passive aggressive mode,
Yeah.
what kind of strategies does this program offer to help them shift towards being more assertive?
Well, one of the key techniques they teach is the use of I statements.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of those.
So instead of saying something like, you never listen to me, you would say, I feel unheard when I don't get a chance to share my thoughts.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's a subtle shift, but it
Mm.
totally changes the tone.
It really does.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting to me. The program connects relationship conflicts to our core fears.
Yes.
Tell me more about that.
This is one of the most fascinating parts of the program.
Okay.
So it explores this idea that a lot of our arguments, even the ones that seem really superficial, might actually be rooted in some deeper anxieties.
Like what kind of anxieties?
Like fears of extinction, mutilation, loss of autonomy, separation,
Wow, those are deep.
even death of self.
Okay, so how do these fears like actually play out in our relationships? Can you give me an example?
Sure. Imagine you're having an argument with your partner,
Okay.
and they say something that feels critical of you.
Yeah.
Do you ever find yourself shutting down or withdrawing from the conversation?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
That could be the fear of death of self kicking in. Yeah, that feeling that your identity is being attacked or invalidated.
Hmm. So if we can recognize those underlying fears, then we can
Yes.
maybe approach the conflict in a more constructive way.
Exactly. It's about understanding the root of the problem.
Okay, I'm starting to see how all of this ties together. Now, another thing this program emphasizes is the connection between stress management
Yes.
and relationship well-being.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like we all know that when we're stressed, we can be a little bit testy.
Right. We can be a little on edge.
But they're saying that both good stress and bad stress can
Hmm.
impact our interactions with our partners.
Yeah, and what's important is that we learn to recognize our stressors
Mhm.
and develop some healthy coping mechanisms.
So it's not about like eliminating stress
Yeah.
completely.
Yeah.
It's about managing it so that it doesn't like
Exactly.
spill over into our relationships.
Exactly.
Okay, so the program actually gives you tools to help you identify your stressors
It does.
and then figure out how to cope with them. That's super helpful because I think we often underestimate how much stress can really affect our relationships.
Yes, for sure.
Okay, are you ready for a rapid fire round of some other
Yeah.
fascinating themes that this program touches on?
Okay, let's do it.
All right, so first up we have financial alignment. And it's
Mhm.
not just about like balancing the checkbook.
Right.
It's about understanding each other's values and goals around money.
Yeah, this is huge.
It is.
Money can be such a source of conflict in relationships.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And this program really goes beyond just the practical stuff like budgeting.
Okay.
It actually delves into your beliefs about money,
Ooh, interesting.
how you were raised with money, your comfort levels with spending versus saving.
Yeah.
All of that can really impact your financial harmony as a couple.
It's like the psychology of money
Exactly.
in a relationship.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Ooh.
Okay, next up is identifying shared values,
Yes.
which the program presents as like the bedrock
It's
of a strong relationship.
the foundation. When you are aligned on your core values, it makes everything so much easier.
Right, because you're basically coming from the same place
Mhm.
when you're making decisions.
Yeah, you have that shared foundation.
Yeah. Okay, and then the program also gets into how relationship conflict can impact our self-respect and self-image.
Oh, this is so important.
It is. Have you ever noticed that after a big fight with your partner, you kind of start to
Yeah,
doubt yourself or you feel less confident?
absolutely.
Yeah. And so the program encourages you to like build up your self-respect
Hmm.
and replace those negative thoughts about yourself
Yeah.
with more positive and affirming ones.
It's about recognizing your worth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. We have trust and emotional presence.
Essential ingredients.
Yes, these are like the essentials
Hmm.
in any relationship.
Yeah.
And the program gives you exercises to strengthen both of those things.
It's like learning to be fully present with your partner,
Okay.
listening to them attentively, responding with empathy and understanding.
So like really being in the moment with them.
Yeah, imagine being so absorbed in a movie
Okay.
that your phone and everything else just fades away.
Wow, that's a great analogy.
That's the kind of presence we're talking about.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's like giving your partner the gift of your undivided attention.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then while being present with your partner is important, the program also highlights the importance of maintaining your individuality.
Yes, this is key.
Okay, so why is that so important?
Well, it's easy to kind of get lost in the we of a relationship and
Yeah.
forget about our own individual needs and passions. But the program emphasizes that having your own hobbies, interests, friendships,
Yeah.
all of that is actually crucial for a healthy relationship.
It's about having a life outside of the relationship.
Exactly.
So you can continue to grow and evolve as an individual.
And that ultimately makes the relationship stronger.
I like that. It's
Yeah.
like that saying, absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Right. A little bit of space can actually create more closeness.
Yeah. And it also helps to prevent resentment, right?
Absolutely. When both partners have their own outlets, they're less likely to feel smothered
Right.
or resentful.
Okay, I love it. This program is so insightful.
It is. It really is insightful. And there's this one exercise in the program that I wanted to ask you about. It's called Identifying Wants and Desires.
Okay.
And it sounds really intriguing.
Yeah, tell me more.
So basically, you go through this list and you rank how important different things are to you in a relationship.
Okay.
Things like emotional connection, physical intimacy, shared goals, financial security, all those kinds of things.
So you're basically like creating a wish list for your relationship?
In a way, yeah, but it's more than just a wish list.
Okay.
It's about getting really clear on what matters most to you.
Yeah.
And then the really interesting part is that you also think about the desires you have for your partner.
Oh, wow. So it's like a two-way street.
It is.
Hmm.
For example, how important is it to you that your partner is willing to work through conflicts?
Hmm. That's a good one.
Or that they initiate physical affection?
Okay, so it's about getting clear on your expectations
Mm-hmm.
and then communicating them to your partner.
Exactly. And by comparing your lists and having those conversations,
Yeah.
you can start to bridge any gaps.
And avoid misunderstandings down the road.
Right.
I like it. Now, you mentioned earlier the Areas for Change worksheet,
Oh, yeah.
the one that makes you do some serious self-reflection.
It does. It can be a little intense.
Yeah, but honesty is important.
It is. So the program encourages you to ask yourself some tough questions like,
Give me an example.
what would I like to change most about myself?
Ooh, that is tough.
And then, what are some habits that my partner might find annoying about me?
Okay, so you're really getting to the heart of the matter.
Yeah, it's about owning your actions and seeing how they impact your partner.
It's like taking responsibility for your part in the relationship dynamic.
Exactly.
And that can be hard, but ultimately it's about growth.
It is. It's about becoming a better partner.
Right. Because you can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly.
Okay, let's talk more about communication styles.
Okay.
Because I think this is where a lot of couples get tripped up.
It is a common area of conflict.
So the program breaks down the four main styles:
Mm-hmm.
passive-aggressive, and assertive.
And it really highlights assertive communication as the key
Right.
to a healthy relationship.
But how do you actually become more assertive if you're not used to communicating that way?
Well, the program offers a lot of strategies.
What?
For example, it encourages you to practice using I statements.
Oh, right. Like we talked about earlier.
Exactly. Instead of saying, you always leave your clothes on the floor,
Yeah.
you could try, I feel frustrated when I see clothes on the floor because it makes me feel like our space isn't respected.
Yeah, that's so much better.
It takes the blame out of it.
And it helps you express your feelings.
Right. The program also encourages setting boundaries and saying no when you need to.
Okay. Yeah, that can be tough.
It can, especially for people who tend to be more passive.
But it's an important skill to develop.
It is. And it's not just about expressing yourself clearly.
Right.
It's also about really listening to your partner.
Active listening.
Yes, the program dedicates a whole section to that.
What kind of tips does it give?
Well, it talks about paying attention to nonverbal cues, reflecting back what you hear, validating your partner's feelings.
So it's like putting down your phone,
Yes.
making eye contact,
Mhm.
and really tuning into what they're saying,
Exactly. It's about being present.
and creating that space for open and honest dialogue,
Right. Where both partners feel heard and understood.
which is so important for building trust.
Absolutely. Trust is the foundation of any strong relationship.
But what happens when that trust gets broken? Does the program address that?
It does. It acknowledges that rebuilding trust takes time and effort,
Yeah.
and it encourages open communication about what happened.
So it's not about sweeping it under the rug.
No, it's about facing it head on, taking responsibility, and making amends.
And forgiveness.
Yes, forgiveness is crucial.
For both people involved.
Right. It's not about condoning the behavior,
Okay.
but it's about letting go of the resentment.
Yeah. Because that can really poison a relationship.
It can. And the program offers steps for both offering forgiveness and receiving it.
Because that can be hard too.
It can be very challenging.
But it's so healing.
It is. It can pave the way for deeper intimacy.
Okay, there's one exercise I'm really curious about. It's called troublesome assumptions.
Ah, yes. This one is all about challenging the assumptions we make about our partners
Right.
and our relationships.
So like, for example, assuming that your partner should just know what you're thinking,
Exactly. Or assuming that they'll always react in a certain way.
even if they've changed.
Right. So the program encourages you to examine those assumptions and see if they're really true.
It's like questioning those automatic thoughts that we
Yeah.
often have.
And replacing them with more realistic and compassionate perspectives.
I love that. Because it's so easy to get stuck in those negative thought patterns
It is.
without even realizing it.
And this program gives you the tools to break free from those patterns.
Okay, so it's about becoming more aware of our thoughts
Mm-hmm.
and then choosing to think about our partner and our relationship in a more positive way.
Exactly. And that can make a huge difference.
This program is so thorough. It covers so much ground.
It does. It's very comprehensive.
And it doesn't shy away from the tough topics.
No, it doesn't. It even talks about recognizing signs of abuse.
Oh, wow.
It provides information about different types of abuse.
Yeah.
Physical, emotional, sexual.
So it's about helping people identify those signs
Mm,
and know when to get help.
exactly. And it stresses the importance of knowing your rights.
Yeah, because everyone deserves to be in a safe and healthy relationship.
Absolutely. It's about creating a culture of respect.
Okay, so I'm sensing a theme here.
What's that?
This program is all about being proactive
Yes.
and taking charge of your relationship's well-being.
It is. It's about empowering couples to navigate the challenges of relationships.
And create a stronger bond.
Exactly.
I love that. It's not about waiting for things to fall apart.
No.
It's about actively nurturing your connection.
It's about making a conscious choice to invest in your relationship.
And prioritize its growth.
Exactly.
Okay, well, we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
But I think we need to take a quick break.
Okay.
We'll be right back to wrap things up and leave you with some final food for thought. And we're back. I feel like we could talk about this program for hours.
Me too. There's just so much to unpack.
But we are going to have to start wrapping things up soon. But before we do, I wanted to circle back to this idea of emotional presence.
Okay.
Because I think it's so crucial for any relationship.
It really is. It's about being fully present and engaged with your partner in the moment.
Yeah, it's so easy to get distracted
It is.
in our busy lives. But this program really highlights how important it is to just tune everything out and give your partner your undivided attention.
Yeah, it's like putting down your phone, making eye contact, really listening to what they're saying.
It's like giving them the gift of your complete focus.
And the program actually suggests some exercises to help you cultivate emotional presence.
Oh, like what?
Things like practicing active listening,
Mm-hmm.
mirroring your partner's body language, expressing appreciation for their efforts.
I like that.
It's about being intentional about those moments of connection.
And speaking of connection, we can't forget about physical intimacy.
Right, that's another important piece of the puzzle.
And this program doesn't shy away from that topic at all,
No, it encourages couples to have open and honest conversations about their sexual needs and desires.
which can be tough for some people.
It can be, but the program provides tips for approaching those conversations in a way that feels safe and respectful.
Yeah, it's about creating that space where you can be vulnerable with each other
Exactly.
and express what you want and need without feeling judged.
It's also about understanding that everyone has different preferences.
And that those preferences can change over time.
Exactly. So it's an ongoing conversation.
Okay, now, something we haven't really talked about yet is this idea of maintaining individuality within a relationship.
Yeah, that's a really important concept that the program emphasizes.
So why is that so important?
Well, it's easy to lose yourself in a relationship,
Right.
to kind of get caught up in the we and forget about the me.
Yeah, you can kind of lose sight of your own identity.
Exactly. But the program stresses that having your own hobbies, interests, friendships,
Yeah.
all of that is crucial for a healthy partnership.
It's about having a life outside of the relationship
Right.
so you can continue to grow and evolve as an individual.
And that ultimately makes the relationship stronger.
I like that. It's like absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Exactly. A little bit of space can actually create more closeness.
Yeah. And it can prevent resentment from building up.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit and talk about conflict. Because conflict is inevitable in any relationship.
It is.
But this program seems to offer a really constructive approach to dealing with it.
It does. It emphasizes the importance of understanding your communication style
Yeah.
and your partner's communication style.
Right, because if you can understand how you both communicate,
Mm,
then you can navigate those disagreements more effectively.
exactly.
And we talked earlier about the power of I statements and active listening.
Those are essential tools.
Yeah, it's about expressing your needs and feelings without blaming or attacking your partner,
And it's about really trying to understand their perspective.
even if you don't agree with it,
Right. It's about finding that common ground.
and working together to find a solution.
Exactly.
Okay, but what happens when things get really heated?
Yeah.
Like, what if you're in the middle of an argument and you feel like you're about to explode?
Well, the program encourages couples to take breaks if they need to.
Okay.
Just step away from the situation for a few minutes
Cool down.
and then come back to the conversation when you're both feeling calmer.
Exactly. And it's important to remember that conflict doesn't have to be a bad thing. It can actually be an opportunity for growth.
Yeah, if you approach it with the right mindset.
Exactly.
Now, before we wrap things up, I wanted to revisit some of those impactful quotes that we shared earlier.
Okay.
The one about research showing that couples who regularly check up on their relationships experience improvements really stood out to me.
Yeah, that's a great one. It's like preventative maintenance for your relationship.
Exactly. It's about making time for those check-ins even when things are going well.
Right.
It's about being proactive.
And intentional
Yeah.
about nurturing your connection.
And then there's that other quote about how the best way to fix your relationship is to look at how you can make improvements as an individual.
That one's powerful.
It is. It's a
Yeah.
good reminder that individual growth is so important for relationship growth.
You can't have one without the other.
Exactly.
Right.
And lastly, there's that thought-provoking quote about how small problems can sometimes become big problems.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Because they trigger deeper fears.
Yeah, that one really makes you think.
It does. It's about looking beneath the surface.
And understanding the underlying emotional dynamics.
Wow. We've covered a lot of ground today.
We have. It's been a really insightful deep dive.
It has. And I feel like we've gained some valuable tools and perspectives
I hope so.
for building stronger and healthier relationships.
Me too.
So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final question to ponder.
Okay.
What do you think is the most important ingredient for a healthy and fulfilling relationship? It's something to reflect on, maybe discuss with your partner,
Yeah, have those conversations.
and continue exploring on your own journey of love and connection.
Exactly.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.